Hello, welcome to Clarity 16.3.0 Feature Supportability Training. I am Santosh Panchali and I am a Product Manager of Clarity. In this session, we'll review some of the general usability improvements made in Clarity 16.3.0. So, what's new in this release? When adding multiple fields to a view, the user experience has been enhanced to bring the data for the newly added attributes or columns all at once. Note that this feature is a beta in this release. Next, in case of dependent, also known as parameterized lookups, when the source attribute or the lookup that drives the dependent lookup is updated, the dependent lookup's value is now consistently cleared out if the chosen combination between them is not valid anymore. Last but not the least, functionality has been added to delete unsaved views created by users upon their logout based on a new system option. This feature has been requested and voted as the winner from our customer innovation program. And why are these enhancements important? By preventing an immediate data refresh in grids when adding multiple fields from the column panel, users can add all desired fields at once instead of having to click and wait for the grid to refresh after each selection. And it is essential to clear a parameterized or a dependent lookup value when the underlying source lookup value is changed, as failing to do so would compromise the data integrity of the record. This was being done partially in some parts of the product in the previous releases, but now has been fixed to work consistently. Last, offering Clarity administrators the option to delete unsaved views gives them better control over their saved and especially the recommended views. Without this option, changes to any recommended views may not get to the end users, potentially leading to confusion. Additionally, it also helps to reduce the saved view bloat. Now, let's review these enhancements in more detail through a demonstration. I'm logged in as Lily Grant, who is a project manager, and I'm on the project's grid page. Let's add a few more fields to this view. And as I start selecting them, pay attention to the grid. Let's add project category, project ID, and project type. You may notice that the data from the newly added fields still does not show up, but just displays placeholder columns for now. If you are aware of the behavior in the previous releases, as you select a field, the grid gets refreshed to display the columns and the data immediately. This gets repeated as we select more and more fields, leading to a usability issue. In this release, however, the grid gets refreshed after I complete my selections and when I close the column panel. Let's see that in action. As we can see, data is refreshed at once after adding all the desired fields, leading to a better user experience. Make sure your administrator has enabled this feature in order to use it. Next, let us check the behavior of parameterized or dependent lookups. You may realize that in projects, project category is a field whose values are based on or dependent on project type field. What that means is when we change the project type, the value which was chosen for project category may not be relevant anymore and must be cleared out for data integrity. Unless and otherwise, the new combination of values between the dependent fields is still valid, which may rarely be the case. This was already working the desired way in a few areas of the product in modern UX, but now it has been fixed to work consistently everywhere in the product. Let's first check it out in the grid. As you can see, when I change the project type, the project category has been blanked out. By the way, This happens regardless of whether or not the dependent lookup, in this case project category, is configured or available on the page. Also, note that this behavior is same in other types of pages like a properties page or a details panel, etc. Now, you may wonder what would have happened if the dependent lookup is a required or mandatory attribute, as just clearing it out will make the record invalid due to a missing value for a required field. Now, we are looking at the projects grid again after my administrator has made the project type and project category as required or mandatory fields. This time, let's check it out from the details panel. Let's go ahead and change the project type again. We can see that we are immediately prompted to select a new value for the dependent lookup project category. Unless I choose a new value here, the update to the source attribute, that is, project type, is not honored. Let's do it again and actually change it. As we can see, updates to both fields are now honored. Some additional points to remember when we are dealing with parameterized lookups. Operations like copy paste, drag and fill handles, and bulk or multi-row edit are not supported for parameterized or dependent lookup if it's marked as mandatory. While I showed the behavior for a single level of dependency, the same is the case with multi-level dependent lookups like country, state, and county or district. That is, when I change the value of a country field, the state and county/district fields are either cleared out or prompted to be entered immediately. Lastly, let's take a look at another enhancement made to save views. Right now, I am on all projects view that has been shared with me as a recommended view. While consuming the data provided in this view, there are cases where I may do some temporary or unintentional changes like resizing a column, sorting on a different column, etc. As you would expect, when I do that, a new view gets created in unsaved state. And if I do this on different workspaces, imagine the number of unsaved views that remain in the system for me alone. And when multiple users do the same, it can very well cause bloating of unsaved views. To handle this situation, a new system option is provided for administrators to clear out the unsaved views when a user logs out. Let's enable it. Now, coming back to Lily's session, and we can see that we are still on the unsaved view. Let's relog in and check. As we can see, I am no more landed on the unsaved view, but on the same recommended view. This way, it helps users to get to the view that is saved and recommended without landing on a temporary unsaved view. This concludes the session on general usability improvements made in Clarity 16.3.0. Thank you.